Good evening and welcome to another edition of the HGP Sport for today, the 15th of July. I am Stanford Howard. Thanks for joining us. We start this evening's Sportscast with football. New Campbellville draws with Tugville in the girls' division, and Cummins Lodge boys whips Ansgrove into submission at the weekend in the EXXONMOBIL girls and boys under 14 football competition. Here are the details. As the tournament gets into the business end of things, the girls' division only witnessed one match being played between New Campbellville and Tugville Secondary Schools. Goals came from Karen Jupiter in the 5th minute for Tugville and Rockcliffe in the 22nd minute, drew the game for Campbellville. In the other matches, Iflot, East Rungville and Charlestown won via walkover, while the game between Ansgrove and Annandale and Dolphin and Richard Ishmael Secondary Schools were abundant. On the boys' side of things, after a washed-out pitch last weekend, the round of 16 got underway with 37 goals being registered in the day. First to take the outfield was Cummins Lodge Secondary and Ansgrove Secondary. The matchup from first whistle looked like it could be anyone's game, as both teams were still shaking off their first-minute jitters, until Travis Williams in the 13th minute opened Ansgrove's account. A few minutes later, Brian Wharton doubled their lead in the 16th minute. But the match was far from over as the boys from Cummins Lodge netted 6 goals, with Shiloh Adams with a hat-trick in the 19th, 31st and 40th minute. Jitters Marting with a double in the 29th and 35th minute, and Kishwar Millington in the 37th minute cemented their berth into the quarterfinals. Captain of Cummins Lodge team, JITZEK Marting, spoke to reporters about the team's win.
Team is, team played so good, but at least we get the victory.
How much goals you guys score and what do you think helped you guys to do so well?
We score 5, 6, and we got to play more properly the defense, because that goal wasn't people make to we is not a nice goal.
In the East Rungville and Marian Academy match, Marian came out on top of the battle despite Adrian Wharton opening the account for East Rungville in the 6th minute. But it was the defense play of the team that allowed them to sneak 2 goals in from Malachi Barker in the 9th minute and Daniel Lowe in the 39th minute for the win. Other results from the boys' match were Pleasance Orphanage defeating St. John's 4-1, Carmel Drew with Golden Grove 1 apiece, Dolphin trouncing Tutorial 7-1, and Queenstown going down to North Rungville 5-3. For HGP Sport, I am Stanford Howard. Guyana proved too good for Bermuda as action in the 2019 CONCACAF Female Under-21 tournament continues. Jaden Samuels reports.
Guyana competing in this year's FIFA Women's Under-21 football was triumphant over an energized but out of sorts Bermuda side. The ladies from the land of many waters took advantage of an active Bermuda lineup, but one that lacked the energy to take it through the 90 minutes of play. Guyana set the score straight, registering their first goal in minute 29. For sealing the deal in the 3rd minute extra time, finishing 2-0, much to the excitement of the small but vocal crowd. The local side will be looking to continue their winning ways when they take on Antigua later on Monday. Jaden Samuels, HGP Sport.
More football news. Guinness Greatest of the Streets Georgetown Championship has been seeing some promising teams in the elimination round. Samuel Gillis has more.
Rising Stars came out fighting against good over evil. In the Guinness Greatness of the Streets Georgetown competition held at the National Culture Center Tarmac on Sunday, both teams failed to score in regular time. Penalty kicks then dissolved the tie, and Rising Star rose winner with 1-0. In Game 2, Old School ballers utilized their experience well, but Sophia captured the only goal of the game. All Boys Town B then smashed Berlin 3-0. Berlin's frustration heightened when Melbourne Ross scored a Guinness goal in the 18th minute. As the night progressed, Kingston fought, but Broad Street came out victors with 4 against 3 goals. It was Jimmy Gravesandi who did it for his team with a Guinness goal. Other games saw Ben Street losing to Charlotte Street 1-0. Future Stars trumped Sapphire United, and Leopold Street won against Pike Street, all 1-0. The Queen Street Tigers then roared against Smythe Street 3-1. For Hgp Sport, I am Samuel Gillis.
Thank you, Samuel. Guyana prepares for the Commonwealth Games with 8 disciplines to be represented this year. We hear more from Jaden Samuels.
The land of many waters will once again be part of the 18th Commonwealth Games, with the expectations much higher than in recent years. This time around, the locals has mustered up a larger contingent, which has been dubbed the best in recent years. At a recent meeting with the heads of the respective disciplines representing the Golden Arrowhead, the coaches expressed optimism for a great outcome. For the first time, Guyana will be represented in table tennis and squash, 2 new additions to the ever-growing Commonwealth Games contingent. Speaking at the Guyana Olympic House at a meeting with the various disciplines, the coaches said the expectations are high.
Our athletes may not be in the top 100, but they're still also pretty young. They can get there with maturity. But what is also important for us to note is that these athletes would have qualified for the games, which tell you, and they're pretty young as well. So it tells, that there is great promise for us, and once they continue at it, with the necessary support, we can expect great things from them.
Jaden Samuels, Hgp Sport.
And in cricket, West Indies A went down to India A team for the second time in the 5-match series in Antigua. Here are the details.
Put into bat early in the day, openers Rutaj Gatwan and Subhan Gill stroked 50s to help India off to a strong start. The duo put on a 150-run stand before separating in the 31st over. West Indies clawed their way back with 3 wickets in a space of 9 balls. Even as India failed to gain a stronghold in their innings thereafter, handy contributions by Manish Pandey, 27, Hanuman Vera, 23, and Ishan Kishan, 24, helped them post a solid 255 for 8. Shepherd, who began India's slide, finished with 4 wickets, while 4 other bowlers, Akeem Jordan, Reefer, Rakeem Cornwell, and Pierre bagged a wicket each. Chasing 256, the hosts lost the wicket of John Campbell early in the chase. Raymond Reefer helped them fight back with a 105-ball 71, which included 7 fours and 3 sixes. The innings was eventually steadied in the company of Romario Shepherd as the duo counter-attacked with a 69-run stand for the 8th wicket before Reefer was run out by Patel. The last 2 followed soon after as West Indies folded for 190. For Hgp Sport, I am Stanford Howard.
And finally, after the thinness of mathematical threads and a tie on the Super Over, the 2019 World Cup belongs to England after being ahead on boundaries. Starting the hunt for this year's Cup and the inclement weather being a stumbling block, the Englishmen made sure they endured everything to be the new home of the title for the first time, after years of waiting. Scores again, New Zealand 241, England 241. And in the Super Over, both sides coming with 15. But the cup goes to England, who is ahead based on the rule of boundaries. And that's all we have for this edition of the Hgp Sportscast. But do remember, the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. I do bid you farewell. Until next time, over to you, Handel.